Hello friend, welcome here to another YouTube videos that I have created. I want to talk about now, we're almost now diving into the actual purpose of this channel, which is to talk about and teach people on how to read and write in Didinga language, especially to my people and those who are non-Didinga speakers or non-native speakers of Didinga language. Before I dive into the actual teachings of how to write the Dinga language, I want to talk about the history of the Dinga written language, how it came about to be written using the English alphabet. In this introduction, I want to let you know that the discovery of English alphabet that we use in writing the Dinga language were brought about in 1950s by the Catholic missionaries who arrived in the Dinga land to introduce Christianity to the Dinga people. These are people who made sure they were able to introduce Christianity and the written language of the Dinga people of today. Missionaries used the English alphabet to create the Didinga alphabet, enabling them to communicate and share Christian teachings, right? This pivotal advancement facilitated communication with their congregation and the dissemination of Christian values. Education initiative, for example, was something missionaries introduced basic education and fostering literacy among Didinga children. Short stories books were provided to aid reading, followed by catechism books teaching Christian values in Didinga dialect. So let's look at the first alphabet here. The alphabet that you're seeing here are derived from English alphabet, and there were about 24 of them at the time. And these were the A, B, C, D, with also the presence of the Z being part of the alphabet. And there's this funny looking N with a long leg that was used for nga at the time. Okay, so there were about 24 English alphabet. So let me give you an example of what the first text looked like. I took the screenshot of this to try to demonstrate to you when was the first written text being made available to Dinga people. If you look at the date around here, the first missionaries who arrived in Didinga land, in Chukudum in particular, were the Father Sisto Mazzoldi. Father Sisto Mazzoldi was the first one of the missionaries that came about the idea of having the language being written. You can see here it's been modified over time, and I think this has been reprinted again, and it was the Catholic mission Chukudum. Okay, and I took some of the pictures of some of this writing. You know, over time, I think the language changes, the alphabet do change. Until now, most of us can still read this. You know, like, let me, for example, read this first story. It says, this was the picture of the Father Mazzoldi at the time. Maybe he was drawing himself to look like him. But this was just introduction of how we write the Didinga language. Like, for example, kedajina nganit book, akunina, kakuna ludote, atabine, katabi school, abunagret. So these were the first stories that were written at the time to try to teach people on how to read and write. And so it's like also at school, like children in the classroom, and they're shown how to, how to read and write. Another example the missionaries were doing is just trying to emphasize the idea that so the physical activities such as the football or the soccer game people are playing and all that, they introduce all these games to try to help all the Didinga people to learn a few things, and also helping them to learn about their own culture and value their own culture and how they conduct themselves, how they farm, how they prepare their own food, for example. And these were the stories written at the time to trying to help bring light to their culture and tradition, and by writing them down. And also at the time also they need to teach them how the elderly person interact with the young people, and how they also have their homestead. These are home that are put in a setting like my previous video. I explained to you how the Dinga clans live together, how their homestead actually being designed and put like this. And so the missionary capture that and try to put in writing so people can read and record their history in real time, and keep them informed how their lifestyle look like. Then they went as far as creating short stories about their surrounding, the animals that live with them. They're like elephant, the lions, and the cows. And they just give about the stories about their own animals, like what do they do, what are these animal about in their life, what are these animals, what is the importance of this animal in their life. So they kind of want to give the stories about the lions, about the elephant, and about the cows or the cattle they own for their milking and all that. What does it mean? So all these stories were created for the sake of trying to emphasize the idea of reading and writing. And of course, they went as far as introducing Christianity by teaching the word of God, the importance of going to church, and the importance of actually listening to the word of Jesus at the time, and the importance of praying and all that is being introduced to the Didinga people at the time. I think their main emphasis here was actually to teach the word of God to the people, and Christianity to the people of Budi County. That brings us to the end of this episode of Didinga written language. Thank you so much. I hope this has been very informative, and that you enjoyed learning something about this. I'll see you in the next video, and have a blessed day.